We got shirts on sale. Express your Eeveelution and starter Pokemon love by buying an Eeveelution family shirt and Which One starter shirt. Link will be in the description below. And if you need any gaming mice, laptops, keyboards, and all other things gaming, Razer is having a 40% off sale from today all the way till July 8th. Check out my affiliate links in the description below to see all kinds of killer deals, including the weekly sales. I use the Razer Black Widow Chroma keyboard, and I use the Razer Blade 2018 model laptop. They are fantastic items to use. Use the promotion code in the description below right before your purchase if you're doing the 40% off sale. I have been doing the best teams series for a good number of years now, and I have always asked myself, could the best teams I made work in other regions? I've always wondered that, because some Pokemon are region locked in most places, and I wonder if certain Pokemon, say from Hoenn, could work in Unova. Well, today, I want to experiment with that question that has hit me so much over the years, and see if the best team for Kanto Remastered can work in the Johto region. Now, theoretically speaking, any Pokemon team can work, but obviously some work better than others. Can the Kanto team perform in Johto like how it does in Kanto? Let's find out. When going through this process, I'm going to be taking all 6 Pokemon from the team of Kanto and putting them in the games before we even begin. Doing this on cartridge is going to be a little more difficult. That's why the challenge will be done on a ROM. You can Google how to get those ROMs. I'm at your ROM encyclopedia. You guys can test the challenges for yourselves. This is just simply an analysis. All the Pokemon will be available from New Barktown all the way to Red. Also, all team members will be at their first forms at level 5. You can use all 6 in the beginning, but note that your experience will be all over the place, but you should be fine for the most part. There are lots of people that have 6 Pokemon by the time you get to the first gym. I think you all will be fine. Now, while the team is already made, I will be providing each team member with the Kanto Remastered Best Team with a brand new moveset, because over the course of time in between Pokemon generations, moves change drastically, for the good or for the worst. Since we are taking a Fire Red and Leaf Green team and bringing it to Pokemon Gold and Silver, you guys will find out shortly. At the end of the video, I will also be making a checklist of important battles to see if the team was viable enough to take on the Johto region's most important battles. In order for the team to pass the test, the whole team must do well against all of the region's battles. We will be going through each individual member of the team and checking down all the battles they do well against. Each member has to contribute one way or the other, so let's see if this team has what it takes. If there's 1 or 2 Pokemon we can't find anything for, then I can let that one slide. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think you guys pretty much get how this works, so let's begin. Alrighty, starting off the best team for Kanto, we got its best starter being Bulbasaur. So that being said, start off with Chikorita so Silver will have Cyndaquil. I think that's more than fair. So it's like a traditional Pokemon playthrough. With Bulbasaur as our starter though, we still have the same disadvantage as Meganium has, meaning grass Pokemon don't really work all that well in Johto. Even with the Venusaur line having the poison typing, it's kind of useless considering it doesn't get any damaging poisoning attacks in Generation 2, according to Pokemon Database. It's weird because the Sludge Bomb TM is available in the game already, but Venusaur can't learn it for some odd apparent reason. That kind of ticks me off. But alas, we don't have access to it. Regardless of these disadvantages though, Venusaur can still put in work for Johto, just not as much as I would like it to. Hopefully this moveset you guys can appreciate. Now, Venusaur's moveset is a little all over the place because we don't really have much to choose from in Generation 2. The options you have for it, you can either run it as a tanky mon or a hyper offensive mon. If you want to run tanky, you can run Razor Leaf / Giga Drain, Growth, Leech Seed, and Synthesis. If you want hyper offensive, give Razor Leaf, Giga Drain, Growth, Solar Beam, and Sunny Day. My problem with the hyper offensive moveset is that we have Solar Beam. Solar Beam is reliant on Sunny Day, which without that, Solar Beam will be a 2-hitter attack. Or you can even just use Razor Leaf, Growth, Leech Seed, and Giga Drain for balance. I'm going to give you guys multiple options for Venusaur because you can do multiple things with it, and having the option in different sets is pretty nice. It's got more offensive power than Meganium does, so that hyper offensive set is nice, just be wary of Solar Beam. With these moves, Venusaur only really does well against rock and water Pokemon. With that being said, it only really does well against Chuck's Poliwrath, Price's teamed, just be careful of the ice type attacks. Will's Slowbro, but beware of psychic attacks. Bruno's Onix. Brock's team is checked completely, so that's a check off. Misty's team is also checked. Blue's Rhydon, and Red's Blastoise. It's funny Venusaur covers both Brock and Misty well because it's pretty much what it does in the Kanto best team. So far, we aren't off to a bad start with Venusaur. Aw man, we have to use Nidoking in Generation 2. It lacks a lot of power in Generation 2 because it does not have access to moves like Dig, like in Fire Red and Leaf Green. We also don't get access to it as early as we can in Kanto, as early as Moonstone is in Tojo Falls. That's not available until after we get Surf. Nidoking does not get a great stab attack until Earthquake, which is not until Victory Road near the Elite Four. Pretty much after you get that is when Nidoking is really going to shine. Just because Nidoking does not have any good stab attacks though does not mean it's not going to have great coverage. You still have an excellent move pool to choose from. Nidoking is still a powerhouse Pokemon regardless. It's got great speed and decent attack stats, both special and physical. Nidoking is just lackluster compared to future games where it gets dig early on, especially in Pokemon Fire and Leaf Green. Also, you can use Eccentric as a temporary surfer to go get the Moonstone. It also doesn't matter what level you choose to evolve Nidorino and the Nidoking. I think you guys will enjoy Nidoking though to some degree, so let's hop into the moveset. For Nidoking's moves we have Surf, Earthquake, Fire Punch, and Thunder Punch. Surf is there because I think it's more convenient to have on Nidoking, and the HM power is really good. Surf can be found at the Kimono Dance Theater after you beat all the Kimono girls from a guy who has a Rhydon. Fire Punch and Thunder Punch can be found at the Goldenrod department store. These two moves are great for coverage. Fire Punch makes up for the poison move Nidoking lacks by taking out grass weaknesses. Thunder Punch takes care of all the water weaknesses. Thrash is great as an alternate move for Earthquake because we don't get Earthquake until Victory Road. Thrash is still 120 base power and it does the job until we get it. It sucks though because that ground typing would come in a lot of handy on our Johto playthrough. But Earthquake post-game still does pretty good. Let's get into what Nidoking does well against though. With these moves, Nidoking helps against these following trainers and their Pokemon. Chuck's Poliwrath with Thunder Punch, Jasmine's team with Fire Punch, Price's team is just a little risky, Will's Exeggutor, Xatu, and Jynx, Koga's entire team, Bruno's Onix, Lance's flying type set up from Dragonite, Brock's team, Misty's team is set up from Rayquaza, Lieutenant Surge's team, Erica's team, Janine's entire team, Blaine's team, Blue's Pidgeot, Rhydon, Gyarados, Exeggutor, and Arcanine. Silver's entire team is set up from Alakazam, Archer's Houndoom line, Ariana's Vileplume and Murkrow, Proton's Golbat, and Red's Pikachu, Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. It sucks because Nidoking can't get Earthquake until after the Team Rocket event, because that ground stab comes in a lot of handy. But it's fine though because we still have Jynx for that. It still does amazingly well though, even in the post game. It treads this game still. That Earthquake though is the only reason why it's not on the best team for Johto. If it had Earthquake a lot earlier, then it would definitely be on the team, or if it even had Dig. One more small notion I should mention is that you can use Nidorino's double kick earlier on for Whitney. So that's a check for her team too. For the next team member, we have Dodrio. Dodrio would be the best flyer in Johto if it were available much sooner, but since it is, theoretically speaking, in this playthrough of Johto, it outranks Sphero. I always get in the details as to why Dodrio outranks Sphero, so let's skip all that mumbo jumbo. Doduo has access to moves like Tri-Attack so early at level 21. At level 21, that's an 80 base physical attack. That's a ridiculously powerful attack, especially that early on in the game. So that will be hitting like a truck pretty hard for sure. Usually Flyers are there for flying coverage and for the HM, but to be honest, I think Dodrio is going to be one of the team's hardest hitters with the move access it has early on. Dodrio may evolve at level 31, but little Doduo is going to be a warrior and dent things. You guys watch. This Pokemon is absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, its flying type attribute will only be able to take care of some important battles, but that's fine. Having powerful normal stabs will help in this span of things, and just having power helps out drastically. I really do wish we had earlier access to Dodo in Generation 2 because it would easily be in the Johto best team. I know I've said that about 1,000 times, but it's the truth. Soaring into Dodrio's moveset, we have a similar one compared to its Kanto one, because Dodrio Gen 2 doesn't get much different in Generation 3. We got Return, Tri-Attack / Steel Wing, Fly, and Drill Peck. Return can be acquired from the lady at the Goldenrod department store if you have a Pokemon that has high enough happiness. Go in there on a Sunday at the top floor, and she will give you the TM once you do. Tri-Attack, like I mentioned earlier, can be learned at level 21 in the Doduo stage. Steel Wing is another option if you want to teach you that once you get to Kanto. That TM can be found inside of Rock Tunnel. Fly can be given to the player once they have defeated Chuck. His wife will give it to you. She's literally right below the gym. Drill Peck can be learned at level 38. And personally, I think you should wait a few more levels of Doduo before you evolve into Dodrio. Here's why. If you wait 2 more levels at level 33, Doduo will get Drill Peck. That's 5 levels earlier. That's not a bad deal at all. Until you get Fly and Drill Peck though, just use Peck for the time being. With the flying moves that the Dodrio line has, it dominates Bugsy's team, Chuck's team, Will's Exeggutor, Bruno's fighting types. Just be wary of that Machamp. Karen's Vileplume, I wouldn't recommend using Stealing against Brock's team, that's just dumb. Erica's team, Blue's Exeggutor, Ariana's Vileplume, and Red's Venusaur. Dodrio's flying typing may not do all that well against all these important battles, but its normal type stabs like Return and Tri-Attack will hit well and hard. Tri-Attack early game 2 with having a chance of inflicting paralysis, freeze, or burn will help out a lot. Enjoy using the Dodrio line, it will help out a lot. Next up, we have kind of a complicated member to get, being Hitmonlee. Tyrogue evolves into Hitmonlee by having more attack than defense. Grind up a little bit of money and buy a few proteins, and that should work. As for getting proteins early on, I recommend just buying them from the Goldenrod department store. Sure, they're a little bit of cash, but I'm sure you'll be able to have at least one or two. Hitmonlee isn't a bad Pokemon in Generation 2, as it still gets high jump kick, and that's not a bad move, but the accuracy part of it sucks. Plus, if it misses, it hits itself and commits damage to itself, and that hurts it a lot. Without Brick Break, Hitmonlee isn't as great as it is in future generations. We don't have enough moves to pick from in Generation 2 neither, so trying to find a moveset is going to be really tough. I really don't have a set moveset, to be honest, aside from high jump kick, strength, and probably focus energy. This move pool is beyond trash, I can't even lie. The reason why we can't have any of the earlier moves like rolling kick is because Hitmonlee learns it at level 11, 9 levels before it evolves. There is no move learner in this game, so that takes away that possibility. You could gen in a Hitmonlee before Tyrogue, but I'm not a big fan of that idea. I mean, you could also teach it Mind Reader so that high jump kick doesn't miss. Other than that, I can't really think of anything really good to teach it. It really does kind of suck with the move pool. It still hits like a truck, but the move pool it has in Generation 2 is inferior compared to some other generations it's in. I guess Mud Slap is also another option, so you can abuse accuracy, but god, this move pool sucks. If you grind up Hitmonlee to level 26, then Whitney will be no problem. But I hate for Hitmonlee to be such at a high level, but if you're cool with the level difference, then that's fine. Double kick from Nidorino should still suffice though. So if we're counting Whitney, Hitmonlee does well against Whitney, Jasmine's team, Price's team, Bruno's Onyx, Karen's Umbreon and Houndoom, Brock's team, Misty's Lapras, Lieutenant Surge's Magneton, Blaine's Magcargo, Blue's Rhydon, Silver's Magneton and Sneasel, Archer's Houndoom line, and Red's Snorlax. It's not a bad matchup on paper, but that move pool makes it lag behind a lot. Watch out for that accuracy and high jump kick. Next up, we have one of the best team veterans, being Snorlax. With Munchlax not existing in Generation 2, we get Snorlax right off the bat, and that is nuts because look at these stats. From the beginning till the end of the game, you will be wrecking things left and right. The physical special split works great for Snorlax. You guys will see the kind of power Snorlax has. The high defenses and the high attack power will help you glide through Johto with ease. It will be a joke for you in the early game, honest Arceus. That's pretty much all I need to say about Snorlax. You can use it any way you see fit. Let's hop into the moveset now. A moveset for Snorlax is easy to make because the move pool is so nice. Check it out. We got Body Slam, Shadow Ball, Ice Punch, and Hyper Beam. Now some of you are probably asking, why not give Snorlax Return? You can. By all means, in fact, I think it's a better option than Body Slam because of power. I just wanted Dodrio to be able to hit a little harder. If you want to switch up Return on Snorlax, shoot, boom, go for it. Shadow Ball is great because of it being physical in Generation 2, and that takes care of all the psychic Pokemon you'll ever have to deal with. Ice Punch is great because it's great for coverage. It's an extra hand against Dragon types in case our last team member gets taken out. Hyper Beam is simply there for power. If you're battling against Red and want instant one-hit KO, that move tears of Snorlax. Snorlax, being a normal type Pokemon, can't really do much against anyone type-wise, but can hit like a truck. Use it when you feel is necessary. For the Pokemon it can do well against though with the type coverage we got, it is great against Clara's Dragonair, Will's team, Koga's Crobat, Karen's Vileplume and Murkrow, Lance's Dragonite, Brock's Ground types, Erica's team, Janine's Crobat, Sabrina's team, Blue's Pidgeot, Alakazam, Rhydon, and Exeggutor, Silver's Gengar, Alakazam, and Golbat, Ariana's Vileplume and Murkrow, Proton's Golbat, and Red's Espeon and Venusaur. Lastly, we got our best team for Kanto Remastered MVP, being Jynx. Jynx still performs pretty well in Johto, just like how it does in Kanto. Bad thing is, we get gypped on Ice Beam. Ice Punch though is still not a bad option. Now usually if you were to capture Jynx, you would have to wait until the Ice Path, but since we are getting Jynx as a Smoochum, we get access to Confusion, and that's a tad better, but we still run into a huge problem with that. Morty can still very easily demolish Smoochum. If Snorlax had Shadow Ball by the time we got to Morty, we would be fine, but we don't. So the best solution we have, hear me out, is to give Snorlax Mud Slap temporarily. Also, wait to evolve Smoochum at level 37 for Psychic. That's your best option. That way you don't have to deal with Confusion the entire time, and that way you don't have to wait for the second TM for Mr. Psychic. Regardless of the Morty problem, Jynx still does pretty well. Ice Pokemon, as we've seen with Lapras, kicks butt in this region. Dragon Pokemon scream and run away, and Ice Punch and Psychic isn't a bad combo. Despite the Morty situation, Jynx can still work with a decent moveset, being Ice Punch, Confusion, Psychic, and Thief. Ice Punch is the best move Jynx can get ice-wise, because the Ice Beam tutor move isn't available until post-game. Confusion is nice because it's Stab, and the earliest second move you have access to. Also, we have Confusion because Psychic only has 10 PP. It will run out of PP fast, trust me. Plus, Confusion can take out easier opponents. Psychic is there because, duh, it's the strongest attack it can get. Thief is there because of coverage, and that can be found in the Team Rocket hideout in Mahogany Town. Jynx has a lot of coverage, and I think once again, it's going to be the MVP in this team for the Johto region. With these moves, Jynx is great against Falconer's team, Bugsy's Scyther, Morty's team, but that's way too risky, Chuck's team, Claire's Dragonair, Will's Xatu and Exeggutor, Koga's Crobat, Karen's Vileplume and Murkrow, Lance's Dragonite and Aerodactyl, be wary though, Brock's Ground types, Erica's team, Janine's team, Blue's Pidgeot, Rhydon and Exeggutor, Silver's Sneasel, Golbat and Gengar, the Rocket Executive's Poison types, and Red's Venusaur. Now since we got all the team members out of the way and their jobs down, let's get into the final analysis. Did the best team for Kanto Remastered pass Johto? Let's find out. We have Smoochum for Falconer's team, Dodrio for Bugsy's team, Nidorino with Double Kick for Whitney and Hitmonlee if you want to grind, Snorlax with Mud Slap with Morty, it's a little strange strategy but hey it works, the Dodrio line and Jynx line for Chuck, Hitmonlee for Jasmine's team, and we got Nidoking with Fire Punch for Steelix or Surf. Once again for price we have Hitmonlee or the Venusaur line. Claire's team is covered for the most part in terms of her Dragonair, but for her Kingdra though, I think that's definitely a challenge you really can't face because the only weakness is Dragon and there are no Dragon type Pokemon on the team, and the only Dragon type attack you have is Dragon Breath, so Jynx pretty much covers all of her Dragonair. So we're good on that part. For a Kingdra, you can just use Venusaur and spam Razor Leaf and you'll eventually beat it. Also, if you have Leech Seed, that'll also help you out. Will's team is covered with Snorlax and Shadow Ball, and Jynx is also great for his Xatu and Exeggutor. Koga's team is checked with Jynx, and for Fortress, we got Nidoking with Fire Punch. Bruno's team is fully covered by Jynx. Karen's team is covered by a variety of Pokemon. Hitmonlee for Umbreon, Jynx for Vileplume and Murkrow, Snorlax or Nidoking for Gengar, then Nidoking for Houndoom. Lance is dominated by Jynx, we're covered on that front. Nidoking should be fine for Lance's Gyarados and Charizard, but you can always switch out Ice Punch on Snorlax for Thunder Punch if you're not confident. Silver's team is greatly covered. Hitmonlee for Sneasel, Jynx for Golbat, Nidoking for Typhlosion and Magneton and Gengar, and Snorlax for Alakazam or Gengar. For the Rocket Executives, Jynx destroys the Poison types and Ariana's Murkrow, so that's solved. Hitmonlee takes care of Archer's Houndoom line, bam. Finally, we got Red, and Nidoking takes care of Pikachu, Snorlax takes out Espeon with Shadow Ball, Hitmonlee takes out Snorlax, Jynx or Dodrio takes out Venusaur, Nidoking takes out Charizard with Thunder Punch, or Snorlax with Thunder Punch if you want to switch out, it's up to you. And finally, Blastoise gets knocked out by Venusaur. That's the final checklist, and everything adds up and works out. The best team for Kanto Remastered works in Johto. Well, that pretty much wraps up this first session of the Best Team Working in Other Regions series. If you guys want more of these, let me know in the comments below. To make this series more interesting, I'm not going to be doing will the best team for Kanto work in ORS. Instead, I want you guys to vote in the comments below on which one you want next. For example, will the best team for Hoenn work in Pokemon Sun and Moon? Whatever comment gets the most upvotes, that's the series I will do next. So get voting you guys, and we will see what goes next. I'm going to be doing these weekly from here on out, and don't worry, the best team for alternate starters will be returning soon. That I can assure you, and thanks again for being patient. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more, I will definitely do them more often. This was fun. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and Nintendo content like Shiny Hunting, Showdown Battles, Explorers of Sky, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Smash Bros, Borderlands, you name it, I play it. Want to support me further and gain cool perks? Check out my Patreon. Daniel Leone, Lady Crimson, Pal491, The Lazy Leo, Matthew Young, Awesome Lego, Jarrett Weezosted, and Sodden Grider did, and I want to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mr. Gumbrian, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.